Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hindsight is Horrifying. This is one of your hosts, Jason Mitchell, and I'm here with my co-host,
Darth Jader.
And tonight we are continuing our Halloween extravaganza. You'll notice I didn't say spooktacular. I was tempted, but I didn't do it.
He's some kind of spook or something for the government. That's racist, Stan. Archer.
Okay, for those of you who are still with us, we are continuing our Halloween extravaganza, wherein we look at a bunch of Halloween-ish movies, or at least scary movies.
Some of them have been scary.
In celebration of the Halloween season, which is now upon us.
Yay!
This week is very special because I finally got fed up with a bunch of damn kids' movies, and I said, let's watch an actual horror movie. And so we have picked 2001's Jeepers Creepers. And we couldn't do this alone because we're not competent to discuss movies, just the two of us. Our license doesn't cover it.
Nope, it's not in the contract.
So, Darth, who do we have with us today?
You guys might be familiar with this individual. She's made an appearance or two on the show. This is actually what you're...
It's Meg?
It's not Meg.
Oh.
Well, why don't you give us the wah-wah? But poor guest host. Wah-wah. But anyway, no, she is our now 6th-time returning, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I would say 5 or 6 times. Yeah, so welcome back to Katie. She is in the studio with us today to discuss this genuinely campy and frightening movie.
Welcome back.
Nice to be back.
And I just want to say, this movie, Katie and I both sort of picked this movie.
Yeah, that was a kind of a team
team
decision.
This is a movie, because like I said, I wanted to do something that was not a kids movie.
Right.
I wanted to do a genuine horror movie, but I wanted to do something that wasn't, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th. The movies.
Didn't want to do something terribly predictable.
Well, yeah, and I have always been very fond of this movie.
And why is that?
Well, Gina Phillips. And there's also there's
other people too.
There's stuff that happens in it too. There's like a guy.
There's a story.
Yeah, there's like a dude and he dances.
He murders
There's a
folks?
musical. There's a song in it. It's very good.
Yeah.
No, I liked this movie because it's a horror movie that, as a jaded, bitter old person, I was actually, this movie actually creeps me out.
Yeah, we've talked about it before because you mentioned it on a different episode.
The particularly the first 30, 40 minutes of it. After that, it's not nearly as creepy, even though in a sense it's more creepy once you know how it's going to play out. And we should say probably right now, spoilers, if you don't want to know the ending of Jeepers Creepers,
turn this off right now.
Yeah.
Because Justin Long bites it.
This movie is almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it now.
Yeah. 2001, the beginning of a new millennium.
Not even the oldest movie we've done by any
Oh,
level.
no.
No.
Oh, God, no.
But it
No.
just feels like a long time ago for
it
some
might be the
reason.
newest.
I was about to say, it might be the newest movie we've done.
Yeah. I think
possible.
99 was 10 Things. And
Yeah, and The Mummy was also 1999.
All right.
So, yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
But, okay, Jason, not to bring up Bob's Burgers, but... you know I'm going
Where are you going with
no,
this
you're
one?
going to love it. This movie, listeners, as we've discussed, your beloved Darth is an absolute chicken, and I've never been a fan of scary movies, so I avoided them like the damn plague when I was growing up, and when my friends would go get, all scared at the theater, that was just a fun, thrilling thing for them to do when we were young. They're like, let's go see a scary movie, and I was like, you guys have fun with that. So I've never seen this movie before. But this is where I started thinking about Bob's Burgers because Derry and his sister Trish are riding home for spring break, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going home for spring break, and this truck just starts completely hassling them and scaring the hell, what's the word? Tailgating them.
Yeah.
And it's just being violent and honking its truck. I was like, well, it's
It
no
came out of
candy cane
nowhere.
truck on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it is.
But,
Yeah, it is sort of like the candy cane truck.
That's exactly what it made me think of.
The driver is a little different.
A tad.
It's not Bobcat Goldthwait, yeah.
Yep, it's not Bobcat.
But actually, how cool would it have been if it was Bobcat? If that was
would've been even
was the
better.
creeper.
That's kind of like Christopher Walken level Sleepy Hollow as the bad guy. That would be great.
Well, the movie begins sort of traditional.
Do you see his
horror-
license plate? It says
Be
"Be eating you."
Well, but that's actually a plot point in the movie, though, because they think
What?
it's beating you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not until later when somebody says something to them,
Mm-hmm.
the psychic lady,
Well, in the
world's most useless psychic.
God, she was.
I used to think this was like some macho redneck type guy who's just being a dick.
Because he's tailgating the hell out of these poor kids in this metal truck that is like
19
rolling probable
yeah,
cause.
1941 GMC cab over engine.
I love
It
that
looks
you know
like a
this.
locomotive. Their car's not very new either, though.
No, it's a 1960 Impala. I think it's an Impala.
I'm honestly not sure.
But they had to modify the car though because Impalas
Obviously.
had the gear shift on the steering wheel, so they had to put a fake gear shift in.
Yeah, I
on
was
the
about to say
floor.
the gear shift
Yeah.
is probably the most unrealistic part of this
Yeah.
entire movie because like when
Yeah.
Trish is shifting the car,
That's the most unrealistic part of this whole movie.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that campy and that ridiculous. She's twisting the gear shift like she's trying to break it,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just
and
it's all over the place.
Yeah, it it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, is that what
Speaking
this
of
is?
horror movies and Impalas, and I think you're a fan, if I recall
I know
correctly.
I know where you're going with
All
that.
right, yeah, no, just reminding me of Supernatural.
I was just thinking that.
Season 15 starts October 10th.
I literally almost bought an
That
exact
will probably
replica
have started
of
by
that
the time
car.
this comes out.
Did you really? We've been
Yeah.
trying to find one, my boy, just to drive, just to or go see. So let me know.
Well, I can tell you who can find it. There's a company here in I think they might be on the border, but it's either Alpharetta, Johns Creek, something like that. Fraser, Fraser Dante, and it's a cool place to go just because their showroom is just full of these just random collection of cars.
Yeah, I want to see the one.
Yeah, it'll be like cars from the 60s, cars from the 30s, but if you have a car you want, you can just tell them and they'll go out and find it for you.
We don't want to buy it.
Oh, on the subject of cars, apparently the truck in this movie was every bit as a busted piece of tin can as it looks like, because apparently the exhaust didn't work. After every take, the driver had to open the door and let out a cloud of smoke. So that sounds
Yeah.
fun.
Well, we should back up a little bit and say so. The movie begins with our heroes.
Derry and Trish.
Yeah, Dorian and Trish, and it's funny because whenever I've seen this movie before, I never really thought about it, but now watching it today, I just kept thinking, Derry. Did he name him after Derry?
The town in Maine?
town?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
You gotta wonder.
because it's such a weird name. But Dorian and Trish, who are college students, even though Trish is 30.
Yeah. She's got Luke Perry syndrome.
Yeah. Not complaining. Not
I was about
complaining
to say
a bit.
she's running around braless in a tank top, so I'm sure you're really upset about this.
I didn't notice. I had no idea that was the case.
Surely not.
They are traveling across. I think did they say because it's Florida is where they filmed it.
Yeah, right outside Ocala.
Yeah. And they are discussing, the problems of, young college people
adolescence,
life.
yeah.
When they are accosted by a very, very frightening truck.
Yes.
And then the truck goes away, and then
It runs them off the road.
It runs them
and-
off the road, yeah. And then subsequently, our heroes drive down the road.
Heroes.
Well,
They're not very heroic, I won't lie. Well, okay,
she is.
Trish is. Trish is.
sacrifices her attempts to.
Yeah, she tries to.
She offers.
that is
Yeah.
true. When the creeper does have her brother, it doesn't work, but
Yeah.
she does attempt to.
That makes him sound so less scary. The creeper. 'Cause
Yeah, the
Isn't that what
creeper.
he's called? The
Yeah,
creeper?
well, they don't ever call him that in the movie.
Yeah.
In everything I've been reading about the movie, he's
Because
called the
Yeah.
creeper.
that's the. I mean, I think they call him the creature.
Yeah,
Maybe
they call it
at least in the
Id
second
and-
one.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll get to the sequels.
Oh,
I
God.
didn't see the third one. I only saw.
I've
the
never.
second
I
one.
haven't
the-
seen those.
yeah,
I've only seen the first one at
The,
this point.
the sequels are, horror, but they actually made more money than this, which
Wow.
is freaky.
Yeah.
So
As the kids get back on the road,
yeah, our
and
heroes get back
continue.
on the road, and of course they drive by an abandoned church, and they see the same vehicle is parked outside, and they see this berobed behatted man.
Yeah, it's the
Dumping-
guy. He's the leader of the Whisperers from The Walking Dead.
Okay. I was gonna say like the Black Crows, but that's probably better.
The Whisperer.
Yeah. But they see him just out like you do, dumping what looks like bodies down a pipe.
Yeah, there's blood soaking through these sheets, and they're tied with rope.
Yes.
And he just dumps them down a pipe.
Just get us out of here. Yes,
yes.
that's the smartest thing in any horror movie is just get out of here.
Well, but you can't do that. That's the thing about a horror movie.
And there's no story.
Yeah, they can't
No
just...
cell service.
Yeah, it would be Abed.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Abed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a community reference.
I know.
You know, where it's,
Hate both of you.
you know, let's stand back to back holding knives.
This'll work.
You know,
I mean, okay, so I will go with the heroic thing for a second, because Derry is the one who has the moral compass, where Trish is like, oh yeah, let's get the hell out of here. We don't know what that guy was throwing down that pipe. And he's like, what if it was you back there? Wouldn't you want somebody to come and help you? He's like, we've got to at least see what he threw down there.
yeah.
So,
No,
all
no,
right.
you don't.
Well, I agree with that up to a point, which is if Derry was by himself or with a buddy,
He's so high up in that shot.
yeah, that's one thing. But with your sister, I don't know.
You don't want anything to happen to her. Like,
I would get her the hell out of there.
Well, and I talked to Josh because we were watching this together, and I was like, okay, what's our strategy if that was us? He was like, we go to the next town and get official help and then come back with more people. He was like, he's like, when you don't have a cell phone and you don't have any weapons or anything on you, no, you don't know what he's throwing down that pipe.
Well, our cell phones are far more superior than I don't know what. This is probably Nokia timeline.
Nokia
Neither
days.
of them
The
have a
brick.
cell phone.
That's their weapon. The brick.
Oh God,
Somebody had a cell phone.
No, they did. Yeah,
because they said the cigarette lighter
there's
didn't
no.
work.
Yeah.
it doesn't work. Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, what the story boils down to is it is a story about a monster who every 23 summers for 20
Spring.
Oh, it springs. Oh,
The
Do they have
23rd
spring in
year
Florida?
is 23rd spring.
he gets to eat for 23 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder why 23.
Well, let's see if we can find that information.
Dr. Google. Paging Dr. Google.
But so anyway, the movie blah 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 blah. There's a bad guy and a monster, and they fight him and all that stuff. But when I was watching this earlier today, and I was literally sitting at work, and I just had it on, and I was doing my work, and I'm like, well, I'll watch it again, like I normally do, just to sort of catch up. The first 30 minutes of this was genuinely, I was nervous. Like the movie was making me tense because it was that classic feeling of, why don't they just leave? Oh my God, if it was me, I would just leave, because this is the worst thing you could ever get into. Just go.
Well, it has a very Hannibal or Buffalo Bill feel because they've got a pit that they keep the victims in, except there's no lotion involved.
Yeah, and it is interesting. So Jeepers Creepers, and he's not actually called that, but
The creature.
His
Whisperer.
his shtick, his thing that he does, is he shows up every 23 years, and he eats people in order to get body parts to replace body parts on him that aren't working anymore.
Ugh.
So he needs a foot, so he eats a foot off of a guy in a jail, and he gets a hand from a guy in a jail. He eats lungs so he can breathe, and then there's a very telling moment whenever Derry is told that he eats eyes so he can see.
Ugh.
And of course,
Lungs so he can breathe.
Yeah, and of
Shit
course-
is so dramatic.
I don't want to skip right to it, but I will say the ending of this movie bothered me more than just about any movie I've seen.
I can understand that.
It bugged the
I'm on board.
crap out of me.
Yeah.
But I want to contrast, though, movies like this to what we get today, like comparing this to Saw or Human Centipede.
I love you, Carrie, always.
Which one was he in?
The first one,
He
Saw.
He was in Saw?
Yeah, he was the doctor in Saw, who was the first.
Hate that movie.
Why?
I hate Saw. I hate the whole...
Well, you don't like gore, so
Yeah, it's more slasher than it is horror.
The whole
Yeah.
torture porn thing just doesn't do it for me.
why is it torture porn?
There wasn't.
I
That
don't
one wasn't
under-
really. No, that's like House
Saw.
of Wax. House of Wax with a.
Oh,
Paris
Jared
Hilton.
Padalecki
Yeah,
and
Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Chad Michael Murray. Oh God,
Yep.
yeah, Jared Padalecki when they pull his face off. Oh God, I
Or
hated that so
Paris
much.
Hilton when they like snip her heel, her Achilles.
Oh yeah, that was rough.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. So yeah, what I like about this as opposed to that is that for all of the horror shtick tropey stuff, it is still more or less a character-y movie, because the whole reason that I kept watching was because of the two characters in the situation that they're in. You know, like it wasn't. They could have done this entire movie without any blood, guts, or anything, and just implied it all. And to me, it would have been just as scary and just as impactful.
Yeah, implication is a huge tool when it comes to horror movies or violence of any kind. Like they talked about that when Jeffrey Dean Morgan was cast as Negan on The Walking Dead, and they filmed that, that much anticipated first episode where he's beating people to death with the bat. Jeffrey Dean Morgan said something along the lines of how he was like, sometimes it wasn't even the direct hit that made it. He was like, we would have to stop and take breaks because at some points you just see Negan's silhouette and like the splatter of the blood, and that's all you really see, and you hear like the packing meat sound of him hitting some, and it just, he was like, we couldn't handle that. We would have to stop and take a break, but he was like, it was just those silhouette shots that really got me.
The eye got me.
Yeah, Glenn's eye, that was rough. That was rough to watch.
Well, there's a sort of a lost art in cinema, because in television and in cinema previously there was always a limit. You couldn't go beyond this, or if it was TV and you went beyond it, the show wasn't going to air. If it was a movie and you went beyond it, it was rated X and it didn't air at any theater where anybody would ever see it. And so there was always this requirement to tell things without showing it all the way. And a lot of people have even said, like horror directors who have worked in cinema and in television have said that the TV work is often more terrifying because they've got to leave stuff to the imagination.
Right.
You can imply that someone's being eaten alive without showing it, and somehow that's actually scarier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's why books are terrifying, because you have to think about it yourself. Whereas the movie, I mean, I'm not going to be startled in a book. Like I'm not going to jump like I would in a movie, because you got the sound and you got the visual effect. But I mean, the book, you're just imagining it and picturing it, and then that, lasts forever in your mind and you're forever traumatized.
Well, there's a perfect example of that. Because one of my favorite movies is Jaws, and I saw the movie many times before I read the book. And yes,
we get it.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not really finding reasoning behind the 23 years thing, but it is every 23rd spring. So that was correct. And apparently
they just rolled D&D dice and they're like, nope, 23. That's the number.
And everybody starts screaming.
The meaning was he comes around every 1 year. No, that's too fast. Every million years. No,
that's too much.
Can we
meet in the middle somewhere?
23.
Okay, 23 years. That's it. That's perfect.
Nailed it. But yeah, in his alias, he's known as the Creeper, or Bat Out of Hell, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of random.
Oh.
But
well,
under powers and skills.
Let's go down the Let's go down the creepy pipe.
Well, he is a taxidermist. I mean,
technically,
he does,
it's self-taxidermy, but technically.
That's a whole thing. You have to learn that, No, but what I was saying about the books is, like, I saw Jaws a million times before I read the book. And the first scene in the book is so much, in the movie, the girl swims out in the water and, Steven Spielberg grabs her legs and pulls her underwater, which is actually who that was, if you ever watched that movie.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah, when Chrissy, when the shark grabs her and pulls her under, they filmed that and they didn't like how it worked, so they reshot it in Spielberg's swimming pool.
Huh.
And Spielberg is actually underwater grabbing her legs, pulling her under.
It's funny how stuff like that works, because they had a similar effect in Deep Blue Sea when, what's the guy's name? Scoggins or whatever, the nerdy guy that hangs around Tom Jane. When the shark sort of dips sideways and bites him around the middle, they had to like tie a rope around him and yank him with it to make it look like the shark was running into him, basically.
But there was a part in the book where...
Trish, you just dropped your brother down an old rusty pipe because of rats. That
Well,
sucks.
you know, but rats,
That's
they're,
an older.
they're icky.
Is she an older sister?
Yeah, she's the. I
Yeah,
hope
that's
so.
an older sister thing.
She's 30. I hope she is.
Yeah,
Well,
Justin
she's 30
Long.
in real life.
Yeah.
Well, Justin Long still looks like he's 15 in
Oh,
my
he's- yeah.
opinion. He's got a very youthful looking face.
But
I mean, this is before Dodgeball.
oh god.
And Dodgeball,
after
he looked
Galaxy
like a
Quest.
baby. Well, yeah, that's how he got the role was
Yep.
through Galaxy Quest. I don't even remember him being in Galaxy
I
Quest.
don't. You know, I read that today, and I don't remember him in it either.
No, but now I got to go rewatch Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Justin. But sorry, Jason, finish your story.
No, but in the opening chapter of Jaws in the book, I'm going to do it. When Chrissy gets attacked by the shark in the first scene, it just says she feels something hit her leg, and then she reaches down to feel if her leg is hurt, and her leg's gone.
Yeah.
And that was the most terrifying thing I ever read. Just visualizing you're out in the water and you feel something hit you, and then you reach down and oh, where's my leg?
Yeah, like that.
And then she like puts her hand and she feels the stump.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you not know? Okay, that's why I don't like water. I don't
Because
like things that
you're,
eat me.
you're in shock right away. Well, what recently, and I will actually mention this. I won't go into all the details, but recently, listeners, unfortunately, Darth Jader was attacked by a dog, which was a very unfortunate incident. And when the dog got my thumb, I honestly wasn't sure that my thumb was coming back with me, and I couldn't feel it right away. My hands, like your nerves, just. They're not talking to your brain right away. You go into
Right,
shock, and it's not not exactly being
Bitten
amputated by a shark,
yeah.
but it sucked. I can tell you that.
Might be the
It's-
closest you get. which
I
is the
hope
whole-
so.
Yeah.
God, let's
It's
knock on
basically
wood.
the same thing. It's essentially the same. It's just difference by degree.
Well,
you know?
to be
I'd like to
fair,
think
the
the
actress
jackass
didn't
who brought the
actually
left-handed
experience
scissors.
that either.
That's true. That's true. But you did feel Steven Spielberg grabbing her legs, and I think that would be pretty creepy feeling.
Just
That would be.
knowing what it's supposed. Yeah, I
don't
don't
need
know.
Steven
Something
grabbing my
touches me
leg.
even in the pool, I flip out.
Yeah, I'm not a beach person at all because I know it lives in the fucking water.
Yeah. No, if people knew how many animals that they were in the water with, just when you go to the regular beach, they would not go to the beach.
Oh, I figured out this year at the beach, I don't like the little crabs. Like we walked on the beach at night. And I was
Yep.
like, no, they're cockroaches on the beach. Like, this is not okay. I did not like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate the beach. I hate it.
I love the
It's-
beach
it's-
in the day with my book in
Yeah,
the
well-
sand under the umbrella.
Okay, yeah.
With a
I'll
variant
go with
beer
you
in your
there,
hand.
Yeah, I see.
They got a pineapple.
I love the water, but my whole thing would be like I like the whole like New England kind of thing where it's like rocky and
Yeah.
like stormy day, looking at the water and the waves. That's
Okay.
cool.
kind of like Washington and
Yeah.
the
Oh,
beaches
yeah. I
and
love
the-
Seattle.
Pacific Northwest,
I
yes.
love Seattle. I love Washington. I
beautiful.
love Oregon.
But yeah, my cousin and I actually used to swim out to sandbars together, and he had no idea that that's where sharks tend to hang out. And I was like, I'm surprised that you want to.
They hang out there. They're all smoking
That's where.
cigarettes.
Having a drink at the sandbar.
Ugh, don't you hate it when humans get in the water, Stanley?
So, do you eat any people today? No. I mean, yes, I ate 5.
Did I leave the gas on? No, I'm a freaking shark. But we used to swim out to sandbars together, and until Bart realized that that's where sharks tend to acclimatize because that's where the fish are.
Wait, hang on. We're at the scene where he
Oh, right. We're watching a movie.
yeah, where Derry turns into young Kylo Ren. Because he starts doing this like sort of
Yeah.
freaked out rubber face thing.
He does. And here's what, okay, I don't really understand this part. I know that the creature has to eat the people to take their body parts, but then why would he gut a man and then sew him back together? No, I don't know. I'm
He
actually
likes
asking.
to
I don't know.
torture.
Yeah, I think it's the
Okay.
it's the what is it, what do they call it? The Castle of Pain?
House. I thought it was like Castle of Pain or House of Pain,
Yeah,
something
so,
like
yeah,
that.
where
yeah.
he keeps all the people and like tortures them and then preserves them.
It reminded me of
and-
like a Renaissance painting of hell, all those bodies
Yeah.
like on the walls, and because he does
Yeah.
preserve them
He does.
really
And
well.
And he only eats like he scares them so he can figure out what part smells good.
yeah.
That's the whole point
Yeah.
of the
I
scaring and the
missed that
torturing.
entirely.
You kind of get more of that in like the second one.
I mean, but the
'Cause
funny
he
thing is,
terrorizes
so if you
high
but it,
school a bus of high
So
school
I'm sorry. Is
football
that
players.
you said it's a smell thing? So I guess when people are afraid, they start sweating or
They
something.
smell
Yeah.
fear.
yeah, that's what the whole second Naked Gun was about. Come on, read a book, Lana. But to take it to its logical conclusion, though,
Please do.
then it could be in this universe. You could have a situation where you're out one night and all of a sudden this horrible hell demon shows up
let's
to you
get logical in
and
this
like
scenario.
scares you, and then takes your pinky toe because that happened to be what he needed at that moment. And
Do you ever? Are there any survivors? I can't remember. Are there any survivors?
I don't think so. The only
Then I don't think your pinky toe. Even if you take your pinky toe, it's taking your life.
I gotta kill you. It's a thing. Sorry. There is the only person who survives is the psychic because he smells her and apparently he's racist and no, he is the creature. The creeper is racist because everyone else.
No, false. The second one.
Oh well, okay. Well, they retconned it. They realized the controversy that they had established, so they had to go in and we have to kill a black guy.
He got politically correct in the second one.
What? Oh, he's not killing black people.
He's hitting his diversity requirements.
Affirmative action.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers.
Oh my god, guys.
Jeepers Creepers 4, the one where he kills an Asian guy.
Oh lordy. But they punch pretty hard with the whole murder of crows that's just hanging out at the church.
Yeah,
Ooh, good word.
Crows take such a beating in this movie, figuratively.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with crows. Crows are not evil. We need to get past that.
They eat carrion. It's their nature's cleanup crew.
I think it's the whole people mistake crows and ravens all the time.
Yeah,
Well,
And
Raven
so
swag
the raven,
galore.
and I think that's associated. And then the scarecrows. Scarecrows are also seen as a creepy character.
Well, no, there's a lot of lore behind crows too. It's not just ravens because that's why you're not supposed to eat a crow because it's
bad for you.
yeah, well,
Very fattening.
yes, it'll clog your arteries very
triglycerides
badly.
and- yeah.
We don't like that. So no fatty deposits from those birds. But yeah, you're not supposed to eat crows for superstitious reasons too. So they've got plenty of lore behind them as well.
Well,
It's
but
the same thing as ravens. They're basically
yeah.
interchangeable in the lore.
But the thing is, though, in the West, ravens and crows are seen as like spooky, bad Halloween things. But in the East, it's the exact opposite. Like in Tibetan Buddhism, there's a whole story about one of the Dalai Lamas. It might have been the first Dalai Lama. Like
the Dalai Lama?
when he was a baby, the story goes that the home his family lived in was attacked by bandits, and everyone fled the home. But when they left, they realized they had forgotten the baby, and they expected when they got back that the baby was going to be dead.
What a clumsy faux pas.
And supposedly when they returned, the baby was fine and he was being guarded by crows. And so over there, it's like a it's a
kind of a protective.
Yeah, it's a protective thing.
Well, that's cool.
In Celtic lore.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Jason, that the crows are considered such a positive animal in the East. And it's not just crows here. It's like black animals in general. For instance, when you go to shelters, statistically speaking, it's harder to adopt out a black cat or a black dog, partly because they're not as photogenic as the other dogs. The black makes them hard to photograph, evidently. But
what about black labs? I bet you 100%. I bet 100% of the black labs that are adopted are black.
But see, I think the lab overrides
the
color of its coat. I don't know.
We're getting into some pretty deep racial stuff right here, guys. This is
these are actual animal statistics.
Yeah.
No, the black cat thing is true.
People are very
and you gotta watch
superstitious
out
about black
you gotta
cats.
watch out for October because you got some creepers that come out and they'll like do weird things with the black cats. So like, you gotta watch out adopting black cats.
What will they do with the black cats?
Sacrifice
all sorts of no, seriously, she's not kidding. Like that.
Yeah.
People.
No, I know. I'm well aware of the fact you're not kidding.
People will torture them and kill them. Like it's awful. Like that's why shelters do have to be more careful about adopting out black cats.
I wanted a black cat so badly, and now I have Siamese.
I used to have a black cat.
I wanted one. What was it called?
Her name was Evie. I named her after Evelyn from The Mummy.
Yes,
because she had.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the one that sounds like
studio?
I'm sorry.
Oh wait, I heard crickets.
I'm sorry. I
sounds like a wagon wheel.
So anyway, no, I do agree with you.
So your
though.
shark story was thrilling, but we can't talk about cats. So anyway, back to the movie. But yeah, there's like the whole murder of crows, and they really punch that really hard. But now,
they never. It doesn't go anywhere though.
Well, crows are a symbol. They're supposed to be in some lore. I think I saw in Celtic lore. They're the harbinger of death. I think that was a raven, actually.
That's a stupid harbinger of death because they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad day if you really think crows
Yeah,
are
that's-
unlucky because
that's
they're
like-
all over
that's
the
it.
place.
Oh, in our culture, grass is a harbinger of death.
Oh, no.
Hey, you know what? If you have
shit.
allergies, sometimes it is.
Oh my God.
Wah, wah.
Moved to New York City.
But yeah, so Justin Long has fallen down into the pit of despair, and he discovers all the preserved bodies.
Carrie Elways is in there tied up somewhere.
Yeah, he lost his foot.
Yeah.
He could feel it though.
Yeah.
So that was the unfortunate difference.
Carrie Elways would kick the creeper's ass though.
Yeah, he would. He's Wesley.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I think he'd just leave. I think Carrie Elways. I think Wesley would just go goodbye.
I've got to
leave.
protect Buttercup. See ya. But yeah. So Trish is useless. So I guess she doesn't have cell service, and she's just waiting for her brother to find his way out of this horrendous position that he finds himself in.
Yeah, it is. This whole sequence is kind of weird because I can understand she doesn't want to. So okay, Derry falls down the well. And Lassie's running off.
I was just about to make a Lassie joke.
But he says basically, you need to go to the road and flag somebody down.
But it's an abandoned highway.
Yeah,
There's
but it's
nobody
an
coming
abandoned
by.
highway. There's nobody there. In fact, they actually, when they filmed this, they actually had people take their mailboxes, dig up their mailboxes. And
Really?
I guess they paid them or something.
Can you do that? I thought you weren't allowed to like mess with those.
It's Hollywood, baby. They can do
They can
whatever
do what
they
they want. Well,
it's also Florida, so
Yeah, it was shot in Ocala, like you said, Katie, and the highway where a lot of the film was shot apparently didn't really appear deserted enough. So Salva got local homeowners to uproot their mailboxes, like you said, Jason, and there was. It was very jungle-like with all the overgrowth and all the cicadas and all the different critters making noise. So they actually had to fire a gun before they could shoot some of the scenes so it would be quiet enough.
See, I heard that, and I immediately thought, I don't think that would work. I don't think just taking a pistol and shooting it in the air in Florida in the summertime would even make a dent in the sound the bugs are making. I mean,
you used to live in Florida.
I
so,
did. I used to
yeah.
live in Florida. Silva, do you know how much he weighed?
400 pounds.
400 pounds.
Yeah, so apparently it was
The
really
big
rough.
guy.
Yeah.
He really liked his variant beer.
The director, yeah.
Yeah, but he ate the keg. So
He was the keg.
Yeah.
But he used to.
how do you get to 400 pounds? How do you even if
You don't move.
I suppose.
Don't they have television shows about this where people are like
I
morbidly
guess.
obese?
I don't
That
know.
was- what was it like? My 900? What is that?
I have
500
no idea.
pound life.
I never
think.
watched it.
I couldn't either.
It-
Made me never want to eat.
Yeah,
ever again.
totally. Unrelated to everything, but it just, it just does
Like
that.
your shark
It's-
story.
It's like you think if I just chose, I'm going to gain enough weight to be 400 pounds. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
I think I'd be dead well before I hit that point.
That's why I, in a weird, twisted kind of way, I kind of admire actors who can put on weight for roles when they need to. Like, I remember when Renee Zellweger had to put on weight to be
Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones. She was eating like 4 pizzas a day or something like that.
It's
something insane.
so bad for you.
It
the
is.
metabolic damage that does to
Yeah.
you is
Oh
insane.
yeah, well think about Christian Bale who yo-yos between like he'll be fat in one role and then he'll be what's that? The Machinist, where he was utterly emaciated.
yeah.
His muscles were starting to atrophy because he starved himself too much. Like I don't know how people can do stuff like that to their bodies. It's crazy.
Try acting. It's easier.
My dear boy, why don't you simply try acting? Don't get a root canal with no
Yeah.
anesthetic. Oh God.
Yeah.
That would suck. But yeah, so Justin Long, aka Derry, somehow gets himself out of this.
Yeah, which
horrendous-
is not explained.
Yeah, he just
Gets
reappears.
out because if they
Well, they
explained
said
it,
it was-
the jump scare wouldn't have worked.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And he's all manic and like pressing his face
Yeah.
up against the glass of the car and he scares his sister, but she thinks that she sees the truck coming back and there's
Yes.
that panicky moment and that's
But it's
why she's
actually in
freaking out.
1942. Never mind.
God.
No, because the first one's a 41 cab over engine. The one that she thinks is it's a 42.
Play the crickets.
Sorry. There.
I think we need a snore sound. That'd be great.
But yeah, so we see the truck again because the kids pull over to this diner, which was actually built
I think
for
the
the
truck's
movie.
actually kind of neat.
You would.
No, I'm serious because it's so weird looking. If it was like in good shape and well, cleaned up and painted nice, it'd be kind of fun to just drive around town in that,
But
Maybe.
that wouldn't make the movie.
No, it wouldn't be very scary.
But the diner, I too heard this.
What? Oh, that the diner was built specifically for this movie. Yeah.
And people would come in and try to order food, but they're like, we're not real.
No,
there's a term for that in movie making, which is pissing away your budget because there's no reason in the world why they built a diner. There's no reason. They could have filmed on location at a diner.
Yeah, they could have.
Because one of the problems with the movie is that their budget got cut. They lost
$1 million.
Yeah, they lost $1 million as soon as they got to Florida, and so they had to start cutting things out of the script.
Seriously?
They cut 20 pages out of the script.
Yeah, I know part of it was the cat lady's house because it was the actual house of a real life cat lady, even though the cats in the film are not hers.
They used trained animals.
Yeah, but they
smeared tuna on the screen. And that's why
after they fed the mayonnaise to the tuna fish.
That's
Michael Keaton says it in Night Shift.
Okay.
It's from one of your movie pigs. God. But anyway, apparently they were gonna have a little more. Oh, you guys suck.
Not you, to him.
Oh, I was like.
That was to you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But they were going to have a bit more of the story happen inside the cat lady's house, but that was one of the things they had to cut, evidently, because of the budget.
Well, and Derry's supposed to have some actual heroic moment where he tries to kill the creature, but they had to take that away as well. But speaking of budget, I mean, this film, like you said, it lost $1 million of the budget. It cost about $10 million to make, but the first weekend, Labor Day weekend, it was like the highest grossing Labor Day weekend ever.
Yeah.
It grossed about $15 million, and then it was over $60 million for the entirety.
Wow.
No, I mean it.
Scary movies make money.
They do.
That's why they do them.
People love being like scared and thrilled. It's fun for some people.
But that's what I like about this movie, because like Saw, at no point during Saw was I scared at all.
I wasn't scared, but you're wondering how this is gonna.
Yeah, it's. I don't think that's meant to scare you. I think it's really meant.
It's a horror movie.
Well,
that's kind of the
no.
point.
I think it's meant to be more disturbing than like out and out make you jump, frightening like that.
They need a different genre then. Don't call it, because horror movies. That's the thing about horror movies. Like if you watch Halloween, there's nothing in it that's extraordinary. You know, I mean, it's a guy in a mask with a knife,
and he doesn't move fast.
No, he doesn't move fast. It's not, but it's creepy and scary, and you feel for the characters.
And the music is great.
Oh, the music's fantastic.
Well, like scary movies, like, you have the boo jump out, like it gets your adrenaline, it gets your senses like really heightened.
Yeah.
The Saw movies do that too, because like in I guess it's the second one where they have like a whole room of people, and you're like trying to solve this thing, and you have a time limit, and you're just like you're getting anxious
the
with
clock
them.
is ticking. Yeah.
And that's, I think, the thrill of the whole thing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Kind of like a sadistic game show.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Saw is.
Yeah. But
you win your life and trauma forever.
Yay.
Trauma I got.
Like a really bad Japanese game show.
One thing they didn't piss the budget away on, as you said, Jason, was the church, which was the Creeper's lair, because it was a real-life abandoned church, so that was convenient.
And what happened to it?
Yep, it became a tourist attraction for a while until it mysteriously burned down.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
probably want to get those bodies. It's like Highlander.
the quickest way to get rid of them.
It's like, they had the church that was doing the work.
Oh, the Kurgan came and burned it down. That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I was talking about how they picked a church that was really doing poorly.
Kurgan versus Creeper. I would pay to see that fight.
I would too.
My money's on the Kurgan.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, my money's on Kurgan because he's so much cooler than the Creeper.
It depends when the fight happens.
What do you mean?
Well, if it happens in 24 years, then of course he's going to
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If it happens during summer, he's going to win.
You're asleep. La, 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 la.
But, I mean, even you can chop off the creature's head and he still survives.
Yeah, and there's like a fan theory or I know there are people who try, because
many theories.
Yeah, with any horror movie you get all that, but
well, especially this one because it's so ambiguous, and I think that's what makes it terrifying. Is that it's not based off of real lore.
Right.
Though I did find some kind of like Wendigo type things to it, and what is it?
Like Skinwalker stuff.
Spring-heeled Jack. It's more like the
Whispers.
Ripper type thing, but
Spring-heeled Jack is pretty freaky. Mm-hmm. You go and look at those stories, and you just have to say, what in the name of God was that actually all about? But there's all kinds of stories like that throughout history. There's I'm from Louisiana, and we had the stories. New Orleans has so many stories.
Marie Laveau.
Yeah, there's tons of those.
Yeah, Jason
I've seen
grew up
her.
in a
I've seen
haunted
her
house.
graves. All 3.
Yeah, my brother, he was down there and he took the weirdest picture in front of one of the places that is associated with Marie Laveau, and I wish I had him. He might be able to send him to me because it's literally he's shooting on a digital camera. And
Those will be in the show notes, guys.
Oh,
if I can get them.
I have a picture with. I took a picture with her too.
Well, no, this is a house, and it's literally a perfectly good picture that's not of the house, and then 2 pictures later, a perfectly good picture. So the camera was working both times. In the middle, when he actually took the picture of the house, I've never seen a digital camera fail in this particular way, where it actually created the picture, but it's basically a sort of black screen with a purple blob in it. It's really
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll text him. I'll see if he.
Please,
I'm
please,
sure he can
please,
send it
please.
to me. Yeah,
We did. We went on a ghost tour. We went to Chattanooga. And we did the ghost tour. I freaking love those.
love ghost stories.
And they were talking about like phones and stuff will pick it up. Like they showed us pictures that actual people who went on the tour took, and they're so creepy.
God, the worst ghost tour I ever went on, the weirdest thing happened, speaking of cats and all this creepiness and whatnot. We were talking about cats.
Yeah, no, I'm
but
interested. I love this stuff.
My cousin Chris was getting married to Laura, his wife, and we went to Charleston for the wedding, and we actually went out on a ghost tour in the evening, and we were right by a graveyard that had this big wrought iron fence, and the tourist guide was just telling us a story. I can't remember what it was about, but then all of a sudden, like from the graveyard we hear, and I'm gonna lean back because it was like screaming and squalling, and everybody freaked the hell out.
Go on.
And it was a pair of cats fighting each other, and they like broiled through the fence and scared the living out of scared the lights out of us. It was horrible.
That sounds awesome. I want to do I want to do the Roswell run one really badly.
We ought to do that.
Can we?
Go on a ghost tour
we
together,
should do. We should do an on location.
Can we record it?
Yeah, we can record it. Yeah,
We'll be those people with.
yeah. I'll get a
Never
boom
mind
bowl.
us. You'll be our boom operator.
I will pay for all of us to do that if we do that.
We'll totally do it, yeah.
Serious. I have to come too though.
Oh yeah, no, you're in.
No, you're not invited.
You can't sit with us.
We did one.
Oh wait, we
on-
didn't do that movie yet.
We will.
We did the ghost tour in Savannah.
I heard that was good.
Well,
old
the house, there was one house that they actually, since we went there, they boarded it all up so that ghost tours couldn't go in and look at it anymore. So it's this old house, and the story supposedly is that it was owned by a doctor, and there was a yellow fever outbreak, and he stayed, and he was trying to treat people, and he died, and his family died, and his dog died, and
What a
his
cheerful
goldfish
story. I
think
died.
that was an
Everybody died.
Everyone
And
does.
It was a whole people dying left and right.
Mass hysteria.
And we get to this house, and the tour guide says, "Okay, what I want you to do is I want everybody to walk up the steps, the front steps of the house. I want you to look in the window. Don't say anything. Just look in the window, remember what you see, and then come back and join the rest of the group." So one by one, we all go up there, and
Oh, you've told me this story before.
we all go up there, and we
is so
we
spooky.
look, and we all go back to the street, and the tour guide says, "Okay, so everybody looked. How many people here just saw an empty room?" And almost everyone raises their hands. And my wife doesn't. She doesn't raise her hand. And the tour guide looks around, and he sees my wife, and he goes, "You saw stairs, didn't you?" And my wife, she turns white. She walks back up to the door and looks in, and then turns right around. And he says, he goes, "You're the one. Every tour group, one person
Just one?
will go up there." And she saw this old staircase, this beautiful, sort of ornate staircase. And he said, that staircase hasn't been here in 150 years. There was a fire in the house, because most of the house actually had been gutted in a fire. There wasn't actually where the second floor was. It was gone.
Right.
If you would just fall through it. And then he says, "Did anybody here see a door in the back of the room?" And I raised my hand because I'm like, "Yeah, there's a door in the back of the room." And he goes, "Every tour, a few people see the door." And I swear to you, he said, go look. And I walked back up there, and where there had been a wall with a door in it, there was a wall.
Oh,
It's
God.
a supernatural episode.
I mean, that was literally, and that's the beginning of the ghost tour. So then the whole rest of the night, you're basically kind of shaking.
Yeah, you're kind of freaked
See,
out.
that stuff fascinates me. Like I did the Atlanta one. The Atlanta one wasn't so cool.
Where do they take you?
Like all around like downtown.
Did you go?
area.
Did you go to the Weinkauf, the hotel?
Maybe. I don't. It's been so long.
The Weinkauf Hotel, the worst hotel disaster in American history, happened in Atlanta. Like 120 people died in a fire at that hotel, and it's still open under a different name, and you can stay there, and it is haunted to hell and back.
There's one of those in Chattanooga too. It was so creepy.
Did anything spooky happen on the Atlanta one, or
No. This was right when like the apps started becoming a thing, and they're like, "Oh, you can download this ghost app or whatever." And I was like, "This is garbage."
yeah, no.
Okay, not to interrupt you guys, but we've actually gotten to a pretty pivotal part of the movie, which is kind of strange. The kids are at the diner and they enlist the help of the local police force to go and check out the creepy pipe where Justin Long fell down. And I've laughed really hard, I'm not going to lie, because nobody believed the kids at first. The psychic busts into the diner and she's like, "Jeepers, creepers! That song is terrible. Like, stay away if you hear that song." And then
She doesn't package her message very well.
no, she doesn't.
They never do.
She's manic and but nobody believes the kids until the people actually see the creeper bust into the kids' car in the lot.
And smell the
I wrote
underwear.
this, holding big handfuls of your laundry under his nose. Looked like he was liking it too. I was just like, what?
But the thing is, to me, that was there to make you think, because the whole movie, it's like the dodge is that the creeper is going after Trish. Like you're meant to think that Trish is the target in all of this, because the psychic even does that whole thing where she makes like, well, which one of us is going to be, hearing the song and screaming, and she like looks at Trish, and she's like, she doesn't look at Derry because she can't bring herself to look at him and say it's you. So she just looks at Trish. So the whole movie, and so it's sort of like,
I don't know. She mentions it's him because he's got the rose tattoo on his stomach and the creature smelling his laundry.
No. She mentions the rose tattoo when on the phone call.
Yeah.
When she's trying to just say, like, prove that she's psychic, because she's like,
okay.
you're holding where you're cut. It's right above a rose tattoo.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Have you seen Cats yet? Have you seen the Cats? Like, she's flipping out.
The movie or the Broadway play? Because I don't want to see the movie.
I don't want to see
creepy.
that one. No, I will. Even with Idris Elba, nope, hard pass. Looks horrendous. But
Anuses.
Oh God. Ah!
Now this is her first dead body, right?
I think so. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, because he went down in the pipe and saw a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
This is
Justin Long
hers.
has already been scarred for life by
Yeah.
seeing all this preserved Sistine Chapel.
But he'll use
bodies,
his humor to cope.
Yes.
as some of us are wont to
It's
do.
a defense mechanism.
I kind
it
of
really is.
I did kind of laugh a little bit when the kids were leading the police back to the church, and the kids just argue, brother and
I
sister,
know,
like
yeah,
throughout the
it's-
movie, and that was annoying to me. But they're fussing at each other, like, "Oh my God, the song! It's just a song, Derry," and they're going back. And meanwhile, the police car is careening out of
Yeah, I
control
know.
because the creeper's like riding on top of it and murdering the policeman.
It could, if you wanted, if the director, if Silva and everyone involved had wanted to make it a comedy,
It says taste something.
tastes so good.
Yep.
Tastes.
Oh, this was so
darn good.
messed
Tastes
up.
so
Yeah,
darn
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I wrote that down, and this was so freaking weird.
Yeah, when the creeper eats the tongue.
His wispy hair, that's the part that creeps me out the most.
Well, because he needs to find somebody with a
really lush
hair and steal,
Eat the hair.
Yeah.
It
That must be the hard part, because it's got.
looks like he's.
stick in
Oh,
his
it does
throat.
look like he's
Ugh.
making out with it.
Well,
No, seriously, he's like just pulling on the tongue. It's so disgusting. Like,
but
ugh.
no, but that's what I was saying. Though,
There's a
if
tongue
they had
fetish
wanted
with this
to,
podcast.
if they had wanted to, they could have made this a comedy. Wait, what?
She said we have a tongue fetish on the podcast.
Between this and
Well, yeah.
Highlander.
the Kurgan, because he's always like, apparently,
Why? I put that. That's
And
on my,
it, I
that's on
think
my
it
Twitter
does weird
feed.
things.
your tongue fetish.
Hashtag tongue fetish.
Oh god.
No, but they could have made this movie a comedy very,
There we go.
very
There we go.
easily.
Ew,
know?
oh god.
Oh, according to Jade, it already is. I laughed at this. This made me laugh.
I don't know. I
laugh
want,
too much.
because if I was younger, if I had seen this when it originally came out in 2001, it would have scared.
Did you watch it in the dark?
No, I don't.
Okay, there's
I anticipated. That's the thing. So far, the movies that like when Adam Darby chose to do it, I remembered being terrified by that movie, and I was upset that he chose it because I was like, damn, I've got to sit through it. But
the new It though.
Eh.
That one, I just saw the second one.
I hear that one's really gory.
It's actually it's not that I've seen gorier, but it's pretty creepy.
Could be crazier, but
I just love how he opens the door again and like he forgot the head. He opens it back up again and tosses the head in.
Yeah.
You know, he's just out doing his thing, you know. He's not trying to be mean.
You know, he's not littering. Let's just remember that.
That's
He's
true.
cleaning up after himself.
That is true. Yeah. He's taking oh no, he's not. No. He's leaving only footprints, but he is also taking skin,
lives
and organs,
you know,
and bones,
and all of it,
yeah,
really.
And all that. So, okay.
But apparently,
but
apparently not hair.
But he's only leaving the footprints, though.
Oh my god.
So that's it.
He's so green.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think he is green.
The kids get away. They keep encountering the
Mold.
creeper, and they keep stopping. I don't understand this. I would.
And the car works and then doesn't work and then works and then doesn't work, and the car is very motivated
Trish is
by
like
the script.
Stripping the gears, the way she's shifting all over the place.
Isn't
That's
this
why
her car? This is her car too, because he goes, "We should have taken my car."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have taken my Prius.
Yeah.
Would have been fine.
See, they're not being very
They
green.
have
They're taking the
Priuses
gas
as
guzzler across the state. But yeah, so
They
pull
took
over.
the long road.
They pull over at Gail's house.
Yeah.
Hey, bumfuck.
Yeah.
The creeper's tongues feel so much different from my cat.
Are you the creeper? Are you gonna kill me?
Well, it's all right if you buy me dinner first.
But yeah, that
And they're
was
still arguing, of course. Which
They're
actually,
brother and sister. They're consistent.
yeah, but that's actually something that I like about this is that in a lot of horror movies, it would be like a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And there would be that dynamic. And I like the fact that it's brother and sister.
House of Wax is the same way.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You were saying.
This looks like the Bayou.
But,
well, Florida.
yeah.
It's
Florida.
very likely that there's some water nearby.
The only state in our union that has saltwater crocodiles. So if you go on the beach in Florida, there's a chance you will be attacked by the ultimate ambush predator. Yeah.
Sharks and crocodiles.
Crocodiles.
Yep.
They get you while you're on the land.
Yeah.
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 Well, and sharks, bull sharks have been
Get ya.
found in freshwater too. They've been traveling up rivers because they're getting accustomed to the lack of salt.
Piranha too.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's why you stick to the Chattahoochee. We'll just straight up murder it.
No, there was a gator living there.
Oh,
for a
no,
while,
I'm very
too.
aware. It was right where I used to run all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It always looked like it. You're like, I bet there's a gator in there. No, there's
Well,
no gator in there.
what-
Hey, we found one.
When I lived in Florida, I remember I was riding my bike one day and I went down between the subdivision we lived in and another one. There was this, nice, decent road. It wasn't like we were in the middle of the country. And I turned the bike, and as soon as I go around the corner, laying across the path is about a 9-foot long alligator just
hell
in the
no.
path. And I literally let the bike go. The bike actually hits the alligator and flips over the alligator, and I land several feet away. And the alligator just, he just fucked off.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, well, I was enjoying myself until you showed up, and then,
Well, that's the thing is they're on roads because it's a hot road and
Yeah.
they're just sunbathing. But yeah, no.
yeah, nude, actually.
No.
And they're fast in short bursts, but they're not going to like chase you down if you're on a bicycle.
No.
It's not like a bear where
No.
it can run you down.
They're not going to get
Oh,
in
and
the-
bears can chase you up trees.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no getting away from a bear.
Yeah, an alligator's not going to get in a car and drive after you. You're not going to be in a high-speed chase.
Unlike the
with an alligator.
creeper who's driving that truck around looking for the best smelling fear.
Yeah. Actually, I saw a great old commercial the other day. It was for, I think it was for Asics. So it was for shoes. It was these two guys in the savannah, and they're walking and talking. They stumble across a lion, and one of the guys pulls out a pair of shoes and starts putting it on, and the other guy says, "You don't actually think you can outrun a lion, do you?" And he goes, "I don't have to. I just have to outrun you."
I love that.
Oh, it's great. So the cat lady,
Yes, the cat lady is great.
cinema's most beloved character.
Seriously, because she keeps reappearing. But
And you think the way they shoot it that she's going to have like a horribly burned face or something like
it
that.
looks like she's blind or something's
Yeah.
wrong about her
But
face.
it's really just, no, she's just,
She's just old and wrinkly, but she she pulls a gun on the kids, and you pull over and you see that she's got a scarecrow in her front yard, so you know that's going to be problematic. And she finally comes out of the house because they're like, "Can we borrow your phone?" And she's like, "I don't have one." Or
In that lighting, he sort of looks like Rick.
Rick Sanchez?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It's sort of Rick standing
Oh,
there.
Rick Sanchez would kick the crap out of the creeper.
Rick Sanchez,
He's-
it wouldn't,
Now,
he
is
wouldn't
this
even
where
break a
he
sweat.
finally
wouldn't even-
figure out that he can, fly?
Yeah,
think that's the
because
first time you see
they don't
it.
see the wings until she
Because he's just suddenly on top of the cop car, and we don't know how he managed that.
There's a moment when they're looking at the underwear that the creeper done been sniffing, that you hear a wing flap and there's a shadow that goes by, and Trish like looks up.
Yeah.
I saw her look up.
Yeah, and it's so subtle that I didn't even know it was in there until I read that was in there.
Well, they have such an iconic horror movie trope going on. Don't go back in the house. Like,
what if the creeper was just looking for underwear?
I mean,
mean,
he could have it. Go, run, be happy with
He
the underwear.
eats pants so he can have pants.
I made you some pants. Don't even trip, dog.
Oh,
Here's-
bitch.
Here's some pants, bro.
Is that how the creeper gets everything? Like, did he eat the truck? Is that how he has it?
I'm really hoping that's true. That makes the story way more interesting to me.
That would sort of put a whole spin on it because it would kind of suck being the creeper at that point, you know?
Yeah, chewing on all that metal.
Because he owns an axe, you know? So it's not.
But yeah, so the creeper kills the cat lady.
Yes.
And now the kid, and this was really spooky where he's
But she's wearing the cat slippers, though, so it takes a little bit of the scare out of
it
it.
does. I did laugh a little when I saw that, but yeah, he murders the cat lady, and the kids are just sitting there terrified, like, oh, he's walking toward us with her
What do you
body in his
do?
hands. Yeah,
No, seriously, what do you do in their situation?
you're just shocked. Yeah, and you get a really good look at his face.
Finally.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think that the monster, you know, he's scarier when you don't see his face.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's like all monsters
Yeah.
though, because
He kind of looks like Dorian from The Mask when the gangster guy, when he puts on the green mask.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that to me.
I was thinking like Black Lagoonish kind of.
Yeah,
I could see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I looked at his face and I was like, oh my God, that makes me think of The Mask.
And then he's got all that, like, you know, that the accessorizing that he does whenever the stuff pops out of the back of his
Accessorize.
hands, and he's got like little antennas.
What did he have to
and
eat to
he's-
get that?
I don't know. See, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because he has to get everything else by eating it.
Yeah, so how do his little tentacle claw things on his face?
Seafood? I don't know.
He's eating crustaceans.
Yeah, you know.
Oh God. But yeah, he
I
does.
do love when she runs him over.
yeah,
and
it's
then
pretty
runs him
satisfying.
over, and then runs him over, and then runs him over,
When
and her
we-
idiot brother stops her.
Yep.
I would have let her go until the car ran out of gas.
No, but then you have no means of getting
Just
away. and
leave
he's
the
still
car on
indestructible.
him.
Yeah, leave the car on him, you know? Then go steal a cement truck and just pour cement all over him.
I watch him get out of that one.
Yeah. Haha. If he does, you would go, oh, well, it's actually quite impressive. Well done.
That happened on True Blood. They did that with one of the vampires, but they dug him up. So
Parkour monster.
parkour. Oh God, that just makes me think of Andy jumping into that refrigerator box. One of the best moments The Office ever had. But yeah, God. No, this makes me think of, what's that movie with Adam Sandler? Mr. Deeds, where Johnny McEnroe jumps over the car because she keeps driving at the monster and it just keeps leaping Superman like up into the air.
Well, you know, I mean, he does his Pilates. He's, you know, or he ate someone who does
He eats
Pilates.
the people that eat
Yeah,
vegetables.
yes. The only, yeah. Yeah, that's like if I think if the creeper ever met me, he would just smell me and go, "No, there's nothing you have that I made.
You smell like beer and French fries.
I'll take your wallet.
Oh, those are all carbs though.
Give me your watch.
Ugh, you eat Taco Bell pretty often, don't you? So
gonna eat
I'd
my-
be safe.
You're gonna eat my watch? No, I'm gonna wear it, you idiot. That's a nice car. He starts eating the Impala. You know,
He eats everything. That's the whole point of the story. But I mean, another thing I don't understand is if he only eats every 23 years, how does he not decompose in a matter of 23 years?
Hibernation.
Decomposition
your-
does not take that long.
Your
well,
metabolism slows down, but still slightly
Like, is he
works.
pickling himself before he goes back to wherever he hides for?
well, and it's such a kind of disappointing thing. It's like you're immortal, you'll live forever, but you have to hibernate, and every 23 years you can wake up and and eat horrible people parts.
Yeah,
and you would
it
think
just-
that one day he would wake up from his hibernation and go, I'd like to go watch a movie. And read a book, go on a vacation. No, I can't. I've got to go eat somebody's spleen because mine's out.
I'm low on spleen.
Yeah.
No, they say that he kind of messes with them at the beginning of the timeline, like humans in general. But then as it gets closer to that 23rd day, he starts getting more aggressive and he starts getting more serious, which is more
Okay.
obvious in the second movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I think we have to do the sequel because Jade really wants to watch it.
She does.
So
No,
do.
she's so excited about it.
Ugh. I'll take a picture of my very excited expression and
Have
put
you-
it in the show notes.
Wait, have you watched Evil Dead yet?
No.
Oh, you haven't watched it
I haven't
yet?
watched Evil Dead and I haven't watched Shivers. I'm kind
you
of
watched-
afraid for both of them because
Shivers won't scare you. It's not. Shivers isn't scary. It's just weird. It's a horror movie, but it's
more disturbing
it's just
than
a
anything
weird
else.
movie.
Yeah, it's Cronenberg.
Well, in Evil Dead, Mr. Darby and Meg confirmed that something very bizarrely sexual happens with a tree, and I am just not looking forward to that.
You
Once-
gotta watch after you watch that. You have to watch Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Well,
Oh,
no,
God.
she needs to watch Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness before she watches Ash vs.
So I'm leaving with assignments
loved
today.
Ash versus.
Oh
Evil
no,
Dead.
no, it's great, but you got to see because you won't get half the jokes.
The Deadites were super creepy though.
Sorry to interrupt, guys, but that is where we first see his wings when Trish just reams the creeper with the car like 17
I love it.
times, and you think he's dead, and they just sit there watching him. And then all of a sudden he sort of starts to twitch, and then all of a sudden he's got this huge bat-like wing that just starts flapping itself
Yeah,
up
as
and
soon as
down.
I
It's that
saw-
like
yeah.
dead bird thing, like when
Yeah, which is very creepy.
And you know what did he have to eat to get the wings?
Yeah,
Bats.
He's got all these inhuman parts that what is he eating?
Well, the
it
theory-
must
there's-
suck. It's like he's got to go eat a condor. He's like traveling.
He's
the
got a
world.
grocery list.
Yeah, it's like a horrible scavenger hunt.
I only have 23 days. I don't
It's
have time
eight,
for
yeah.
this.
Yeah, Jesus, 23 days. God,
I'm on the clock here.
Give me a whole month.
It's like, yeah, but the theories though as to what the creature actually is, there's like he was once human and did like the whole cannibal thing, and that's how he is what he is. There's also that he's a demon, which I think that's more accurate.
And normally I don't like doing the whole bridge between horror and or fantasy and sci-fi, but I think in this one it actually makes more sense that it's an alien. And one of the theories I saw is that basically it's when the thing pops out of the back of his head and the little antennas are popping up, that's actually the creeper, and the whole rest of it is basically it's driving human body parts.
Oh, so he's essentially the guy from Men in Black.
yeah,
That wants the
just
sugar
that.
water.
yeah.
Got it.
And so it's like,
just
Or
wearing
no,
a
it's like the
human
little
suit.
it's like the little alien that sits in like
Yeah.
the dude's head.
yeah.
No, but yeah, okay. But in either case, yeah, it's a skin
Not
suit.
the giant bug that wears
That where's that guy's like, I want
Stretches
sugar
him.
water. That was,
more.
Yeah, that guy. That's what it makes me think of. But
Well, and if we learned anything from Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's that you're always safe if you make it back to the police station.
Not the tumor.
Yeah.
not in this case, because the creeper.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
No, isn't that in like 30 Days a Night too? Like you're not safe in the
Yeah. Or
Yeah, as Josh
in
Hartnett
the
proved us.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he drives his car through the
Come with me if
Yes.
you don't want to be eaten.
Come with me if you don't want to get. Wait, what does he say? From Bob's Burgers, Aziz Ansari.
Come with me if you want to remain alive.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So wait, you didn't even bring any special weapons from the future? Just a buttload of exposition?
and a mustache.
You know what, Louise? But yeah.
No, I feel bad for the psychic here because at the end of the movie, she keeps saying, everyone says I'm a crazy old lady. I'm just a crazy old lady, and I would want to say to her, I don't think you're old. You're not old.
Giselle likes to think she's the resident psychic. She apparently helped with missing persons and has proved her abilities.
Yeah,
yet they
yeah.
still think she's a psycho.
And she keeps saying things that are verifiably true.
yeah.
It's like, oh, here, I'll tell you the lottery
They're
numbers.
just like,
Go watch.
Well, they're out of sequence is the problem. Like the stuff that's going to happen to the kids, like the cats, when they first run into the psychic, they haven't run into the cats yet. So they're like, why is she talking about cats? And then it comes true later. And that's why she's not an all-powerful psychic, because she
Yeah.
can't predict exactly when something's going to happen.
Well, and there's also where she says, the song Jeepers Creepers, if you hear that,
That means danger for
you're going
you,
to die.
yeah.
And then like they hear the song and, that's when the cops get killed, but they don't get killed.
Right.
And it's like, we already heard the song. No, you're going to hear it again. That's completely implausible.
Yeah.
Like, why would we have heard it the first time? No one would ever play that song.
Yeah. Well, that was
But
the thing.
but
Is
there
that
was
they
a
were
rock
searching
cover of it, on the radio.
God. So yeah, they were just tuning through, trying to find a channel that wasn't static out in the country, and I guess you can't be a chooser
just
when
happened to,
yeah.
The iPod was not available. It too died.
Yeah. Well, and they're in the 1960 Impala. Where are they going to plug it in?
Exactly.
They'd have to be like something Doug Masters had from Iron Eagle.
Oh, yeah, like
And her
one of those
cigarette lighter
stereos.
doesn't even work,
Yeah.
so there's no
Yeah.
sort of like charging
That's true,
device.
yeah.
So yeah, it would. Yeah.
That was so amazing in Iron Eagle because Doug, in his old Mustang, and like he had this whole system rigged up just to get his Walkman to play over the speakers in his car.
Hey, some people
Wow,
desperately need tunes
that's
on the road
so
trip.
cool.
But yeah, this poor,
Memories.
like
Life
the
used to be-
corners of my mind.
Not my mind.
Yeah.
It eats lungs. So
Your
it
mind
can
isn't sharp
breathe.
enough to have corners.
See, she looks right at him and says, "An eye so it can see." And
Yep.
Kylo Ren.
Yep.
Um,
Wimpy Kylo Ren
Yeah.
with no lightsaber.
it all becomes part
A
of it.
lightsaber would have come in damn handy in this movie.
Lightsaber would have
God.
been fantastic in this
Yeah,
movie.
chop them up into a lot of pieces.
Yep. But so where's the policeman going? I've forgotten. He goes out into his car, but then we find the creeper. Oh no, he's at the police station.
Yeah, the creeper shows up. He just literally drives up.
He
Which
pulls
I
up behind the
love.
policeman.
I know.
Like,
It's like
And
he goes back and forth between being a horrible paranormal monster and a bad guy from the Rockford Files.
and it's the loudest truck in America, and yet it pulls up silently to the police station, and nobody knows that he's there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, part of the problem is that he's laying on his horn so much when he's tailgating the kids, but I guess he decided to be quiet this time.
And also, that's kind of dangerous because he is in Florida, so the odds were that somebody was going to put a bullet through his engine block.
Yes.
And he might not die, but
Florida man.
the truck will.
Oh, see, this is where he really reminded me of the guy from Men in Black wearing the skin suit because he's
'cause
just
his
like
foot
limping
doesn't- yeah.
around. He looks like a puppet.
I need a new foot.
I gotta go. These damn kids. Now I gotta eat a whole other foot.
Yeah.
It wildly inconvenienced his 23 days.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It puts him all totally behind schedule.
Right?
It's
He's gotta be
what's-
better preserved
so
than this guy.
What's the point? So at the end of the 23 days, he gets all his stuff back and he goes, "Yes, I've done it. I've gotten all my body parts. I've checked everything on my list of spooky things and my scavenger hunt. Now I guess I'll go to sleep for another 23 years."
Yep.
This sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
He just eats so he can continue sleeping.
Yeah. Maybe he just...
Isn't that what we all do?
Well, yeah, that is true. Well, the back to at the police station, because we are at the sort of the dramatic.
Yeah, we're
conclusion.
getting to the crux of the
Emergency
film.
lights have gone on.
Yes, the emergency lights that sound like industrial warehouse lighting whenever they flip on. Which I
Industrial
love.
light and magic.
I wish every light in my house did that. I wish when I flip my kitchen light on, they went.
That'd be awesome. And then meanwhile, the one cop who's answering the phones in the front is like, "Does anybody know what's going on here?" Like, it's like, "No, Dave, we don't know anything more than you do.
Yeah, Dave, it's Thomas Edison's birthday. We gave our lights the day off. You fucking idiot.
Somebody's messing with us." But yeah, so you get some very, I don't know, policemen have their codes that they have to speak into the walkie-talkie, like, "We got a 316 or whatever's going on." But this policeman, I think he loses that edge
Yeah.
because he goes and sees somebody getting eaten in a jail cell, and he's like, we got a weird situation down here,
Yeah.
guys. Oh my god.
We've got a three.
Do they have a code for cannibalism?
See, that's what I wonder. There's got to be a code for just
There's
about
gotta be a code
everything
for
at this
that.
point. Yeah, there's almost there'd have to be, and yeah, there's these guys just sitting in their cells, cool as cucumbers, while another cellmate is being eaten.
Hey,
I guess they don't realize that the creeper is down there.
maybe not. Who knows? And it's just, I don't know. In the police station, this whole sequence is, I know it's supposed to be sort of, it's an action-packed sort of, the cops are facing the creeper and they're going to be shooting at the creeper and it's not going to do anything. And that one dude gets his heart ripped out.
I think so.
I mean, he gets a hole all the way through him.
Yes, he
and
does.
I think it's implied, that the creeper just took. It was like
Took his
it was
heart.
like an impulse buy. Like he didn't. A heart. I've got two of them.
That looks tasty.
He didn't get from Target.
Yeah.
Just smells so good, and I had to have it.
Oh, that's yummy.
Creeper's hungry.
Oh, y'all kids smell good.
Delicious little childrens. Just send me straight to fat camp and Brad will eat all
Oh, I
this delicious
singed my
children's.
biscuits. Hey, y'all, I'm going to eat your heart now, okay? So we're in the police station. We have the psychic, who is suddenly a very important part of the movie.
Yes.
And a bunch of cops, and the creeper is...
And she starts singing the Jeepers Creepers
Yeah, she
song.
does. even though she deliberately said, if you hear this song, bad things.
You're in
well,
danger.
why
Well,
are
I
you
mean, they're-
singing
Well,
it?
she
They're
needs to
in
make
danger.
she needs to make her point. You
Yeah.
know, she's
Ah.
making an
Self-fulfilling
ass-
prophecy.
Yes.
Exactly. Also, I did not find a code for it, but I did learn a lot about cannibalism stories.
Ooh, you should do a blog.
We've invited you to do one.
Not necessarily on cannibalism. It could
Yeah,
be on
it could
something
be
else.
Well, there's like a police. It's like there's a cannibal cop.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's freaky.
Did he eat other cops?
I didn't read it. I was looking for the
alright.
He
police
had a
code.
particular taste for
No, but it's one thing that whenever I was watching it today that kind of stuck out at me was in this scene, the creeper is attacking people in the police station. He's clearly got everybody corralled in there, but it's not clear what exactly his objective is. Again, like
what it is that he's missing that he needs
what
to
is
eat?
he
or...
doing? Like, is he going in there? Is it like, oh, this is convenient. There's a bunch of people. I can get body parts, you know? But he's clearly there because of Trish and Derry.
Yes.
So again, we're at that point where it's, who's the real victim? Who's the one who's going to be ultimately, faced with the creeper? And of course, being a horror movie, they'll figure out some way at the end of killing the beast and everything will work out. Except none of that happens.
No, you don't get that kind of resolution in this movie that you
No, and
normally do.
we should talk about the ending of the movie because the entire time it's been, teased. One of you is gonna die, and there's gonna be this song playing, and you're gonna be screaming your last scream, and it's sort of implied it's gonna be Trish. And then we finally have a confrontation where the creeper has Derry in his clutches, and he's going to take Derry away and do whatever. And Trish tries to sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
She pleads with the monster.
What was her reasoning behind that too? Because she was trying to convince him, like, I'm
stronger.
stronger.
I won't.
Okay.
I'm stronger. I'm better. You
Want me? Yeah.
Yeah, you want me, not him.
Was he really going
trying
to
to
fall for
be-
that? He thinks.
well,
He's trying to be a good.
What do you weigh? Like 100 pounds?
It goes back to that conversation at the
Him
beginning.
too. It's not like he's full
Yeah.
of
yeah,
muscle.
that's true.
Yeah.
Derry's not like a
Yeah, he's all
beefcake.
bony and gamey. I mean,
Very chewy.
Yeah, no, don't upplay your positives.
Oh, yeah, here's your guy
Upplay
who-
his negatives.
Exactly.
He's
Here's
chewy.
the guy who gets
yeah, gets his heart ripped out.
Yep.
Um,
Well, and the cops are just so unorganized. It's wild.
you can't really blame him.
No. Like they.
So training for that.
Hang on a second. Where's the book at?
No, but they're, no.
Fucking
I'm just talking
monsters.
specifically about when they all look up and they're just like pointing their guns just willy nilly, and they have no idea where the creature is.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, getting back to the ending though, because the whole sacrifice thing where she tries to sacrifice herself, that's kind of tied into the beginning of the movie where they're having the conversation about, doing something that's about more than just you and all that. That's, they wrote that in at the beginning to give her a reason. And the first time I saw it, and I think most people probably felt the same way, you kind of thought she was going to sacrifice herself,
Right.
die, and then the brother was going to get away. And that is absolutely not what happens. The monster literally just flips out, screams at her, and then just leaves with the brother.
He
Yeah.
does take a second to consider.
He does
it, though.
think, yeah, it does look like he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you kind of have to wonder, is he contemplating that?
Well, that's
you
that's
know?
one of the theories that goes back to why he's human is that they think he's human because he sits there and he kind of understands it because he can drive a truck. So
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he obviously.
But does he have a license?
He puts his hat on. And,
That's
he
my
fixes
question.
What
his
does that
hat.
picture look like?
Yeah. Probably not much worse
the
than
creeper
mine.
at the DMV?
Yeah. Actually, most of my pictures, they could just put the creeper on it, on my license, and that's, oh, it's you.
We'll take a
You
picture
look
of that.
good.
We'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, so we do get to this point where Trisha is trying to sacrifice herself, which is
Trish, not Trisha.
sorry,
Come on.
my bad.
You know.
Get it together. Lock it up.
So Trish attempts to sacrifice herself. The monster says no, and flies away with her brother. And that is, for all intents and purposes, the end of the story for Trish. That's it. The
Yeah,
Creeper's
because-
out of her life. It's over for her. Her brother's, as far as she knows, dead.
Yeah.
And that's it. But
And that's what I didn't understand. It's like, okay, what now?
there is no what now.
Yeah, that bothered the hell out of me.
That's why the ending bothers me so much.
I would have to
because-
confirm that my brother was dead. Like, I'm not going to just assume that he's, I guess I'm never going to
but
see
she
him again.
can't. You know, there's no way she could confirm it. You
What
know,
do you mean? They know where the church is. They know where its lair is.
he's not at the church. He's like at the end of the movie. You'll see.
Okay, maybe I missed that.
No,
'cause
no.
I thought he was in his little Sistine Chapel bodies underneath the church when,
No,
This
he
is
was,
where he dumps it.
when he's processing.
No, he has a new lair because it's like an old disused like oil refinery or something.
Oh, I missed that somehow.
and,
My
and
bad.
like because the camera tracks all the way through, and there's just like for some reason water pouring out of everywhere, which has got to be against code or something.
OSHA violations.
And then they get to the little workshop where the creeper is finishing sewing up.
processing.
Yeah,
He's sewn together.
but yeah. So for those who haven't seen the movie, the way it ends, as we've been told, the prophecy is that the song Jeepers Creepers will be playing on an old-timey phonograph, and you'll be screaming, and that'll be the last thing you ever do.
Right.
And that's exactly what happens.
Do you hear screaming?
Yes, and it's interesting because there are some cuts of the movie that they took the scream out.
Okay, because I think that's the one that I watched. Because
It
I
could
don't,
be.
I don't remember Justin Long screaming at the
Yeah,
end.
the ending sequence is a long series of shots through an abandoned industrial building, like an oil refinery or something like that. And in the theatrical release and the one that I have, and it's on the DVD I have too, you can hear Derry screaming, although it's not actually
not
him.
Justin
yeah,
Long,
it's
yeah.
a different actor. Yeah, and he's screaming, and then we end up in the creature's workshop where he's finishing up on something, and the camera pans over, and we see Derry naked and strung up, and the camera tilts up towards his face where we can see all the way through his eyes because the back of his head and his eyes have been removed.
Yep.
And then the creature peeks quite
Through his eye
quite,
socket,
quite
yeah.
playfully through the eye socket.
Like you do.
Hello, and you can see that he's taken Derry's eyes.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the movie. It's over.
Yep. And it reminds me of that story, and I know I've mentioned it before, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, with those two sheep herders who they make their own scarecrow, and a lot of points in that story kind of overlap with this one, because they make the scarecrow and they use it like a punching bag and they abuse it, and then it comes to life.
I think he looks more like Swamp Thing.
He does,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
He looks like
Yeah.
different creatures depending on like what angle you see him from. It's because he's almost got like fin-like
Yeah.
legs going on with
I
little.
love the subtitles. Oh, no. Growling.
And I mean, I love that he's got them both by the neck, but they're not kicking, they're not doing anything.
I think at this point they're too busy peeing themselves.
I was like, come on, guys, give a little bit of a fight, jeez. Ugh, and he just licks
I
Trish
know.
in the face.
I know,
God,
it's-
Further making you think that he
Yeah.
wants Trish until
Yeah.
he
Until
just
he just tosses her away.
and he licks Justin Long in the face, which is just
Well, and it's whenever I watch this, it looks like he's about to just take his eye right there.
yeah, it does.
You know, which I guess would have been better for Derry if he had just taken the eyes and left him. But
Well, no. Apparently, that's just a running thing that happens in the movies that we watch, like in The Mummy. Originally, he took Mr. Burns' eyes, and then he has to,
oh, there's an antenna.
finish the job.
yeah. So the monster reveals himself as a sort
A
of
monster.
Crustacean of
like
some sort.
xenomorph kind of. It's a predator. See, I think he's an alien.
He might be.
I think he's an alien.
Hey, if it can be an alien, so
Yeah,
can
no shit,
So
yeah.
can the creeper.
And but
Here she is. Take me.
Take me. I'm stronger.
yeah,
Take
the
me.
antennas were too much.
Oh, you don't want him there. Oh, she is trying to downplay him.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't want him. Look at him. He's a pansy. He's nothing. He's pathetic.
You don't want dairy.
Look at these arms. You're telling me you don't want to eat these arms? Don't bullshit me.
But yeah, I mean, that is what happened. She's trying to get her brother to.
He didn't appreciate her language.
No, yeah, she started cursing at him, and then the monster got upset with her.
It's a good thing the cops have all those guns.
Yeah, because nobody's getting shot. I was like, Josh, somebody in that room has to have a clear shot on that thing. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. I don't know why nobody's shooting right now.
This is why he doesn't want her. It's because she's not scared anymore. She's like, I won't fight you. And he wants the fear. He wants the
I never
fight.
made that
Oh my
connection.
God,
I didn't either
Neither.
until I just saw the words.
Oh,
I
that makes
never made
sense.
that connection. And yeah, he's looking at her.
And she's not afraid anymore. And because she thinks he's going to just take her. And
So I
do
guess the
believe
lack of
terrifying.
adrenaline
Yeah.
makes her less
I
tasty.
do believe in spooks. I do.
It's like the love for her brother conquered the beast for her. For him, not so much.
Yeah. For him, you know.
Ended up
I'm
saving her
glad it
life.
worked out for you.
Which is not my real name. But, yeah, so poor Derry gets taken, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the movie.
Yep.
You know, and
And-
it's the perfect movie that shouldn't have a sequel.
But
know?
yet,
Yeah, but there's two.
that's two.
And she apparently, because I read the synopsis, because I didn't see the third one either, and I read the synopsis of the third one, and apparently Trish has a cameo in it, because that's all they could afford to pay her. Because I think by the third one,
The budget was back to the original.
Yeah, I think the budget might have been Jeepers Creepers 4 will not be a high budget movie.
Well, I think I read somewhere that they actually diminished her appearances in the movie, so she like opted out. Like she had a bigger role originally, and then they cut it.
Probably due to
So
the budget.
I'm not sure which sequel that would have been for because like I said, I haven't seen them.
The second, she's not in the second one at all.
Yeah, the second one's the one that introduces like the bone throwing stars. and
Yeah,
shit.
and it tells
Yeah,
tells
it's so
more about
stupid.
like the legend of the
Yeah.
creature. That's where you learn the 23. I think they don't. Do
No, they
much-
say it in here.
They do. Okay, well,
Sometimes you just don't need the legend. Didn't we learn anything from Highlander 2? I mean,
No.
guys, we don't need the backstory that badly.
Yeah.
oh, so I did actually watch that movie. My roommate's boyfriend
original
comes.
Highlander?
The original Highlander.
Oh,
My
oh.
roommate's boyfriend comes in and he's like, "Oh, which episode are you on?" I was like, "The movie." He's like, "You're watching the movie?"
Yep.
I'm like, "Not the show."
There are like a billion of them. There are about 7 movies and a show, right?
There was an animated movie, an animated series. I think they got up to like 4 McLeods. There's Connor, Duncan, Dougal, Slappy, Farty, it's
Grumpy, stinky.
Stabby, Rapey.
So we went Casper the Ghost and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay.
Yes.
That's my favorite dwarf, Stabby.
He's the most interesting.
He's so much better than Rapey.
He's got so much more substance to him. And
Hi,
once-
folks, crows here. Just
yeah, I
putting
was
a
about
good
to say,
word for the crows.
Once again, we focus on a crow. And so, I mean, I guess the creature just abandoned his church lair, like just left all those bodies down there.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the jig was up. You
Yeah.
know, the heat was on. He had
Was
to-
that his lair or was that just like his recycling center?
I think it was his lair. I think.
Yeah, I think originally.
Yeah. Yeah.
His pantry.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
stare up at the sky and watch this bird fly away.
But
Well,
it
what else
is
can you
interesting
do?
though that
don't know.
in the version you have that's his new lair.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
He's at an oil refinery.
She only followed the
Okay.
bird
Yeah.
As the crow flies.
as
She would have found it. But, you know,
She needs the doctor. Of course, I think the doctor would show up and go, bye.
which doctor, though? Like, which number?
Oh, I think pretty much any of them would have swanned off. And this is a little too intense.
Don't see the benefit in this for me.
Yeah. How do I get helped in this? But so the version you
Oh,
have.
Derry is screaming. Okay. The version I have, that didn't happen.
Okay,
that's
yeah.
what he was saying. That
Yeah.
like some versions have it.
Yeah, because I see it in the subtitles where it's
Because
definitely
it
here.
does change it if you don't
Ooh,
hear.
and crying.
Yeah. If
Well,
you,
I mean,
if
he's
you,
getting ripped apart.
Yeah.
His
If you,
eyes are getting torn out.
yeah. If you
The
don't.
back of his head's getting
the
torn
whole
out.
back of his head. Yeah.
All of it, yeah.
Go on.
I hear that's really, really painful.
Yeah. It's like a paper cut, but 1,000 times worse.
It's like getting bit by a dog, except it's a shark.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Again,
it's your head.
by degrees, you know. Yeah, I think taking the scream out, it seems like a little thing, but it would definitely make it less creepy because you can just go, okay, well, you got him back there, killed him, and then ripped his head open, as opposed to, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He was alive.
See, that's the scream actually makes it worse for me.
It makes it much worse.
God, because it's like you said, it's all about implication, and then you see his little belly where his his flower tattoo was, and oh, poor Derry.
I wonder what it's like to be an actor and see your dead body.
I was thinking a similar thought. Like that would have to. Well, there's what do
They
they call
talk about that on Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow because Christopher Walken
right.
beheads a bunch of the guys, and so they had to have
Yeah.
prosthetic duplicate
Well,
heads.
there-
And I.
Oh God!
Well,
That last shot.
there's like a thing called like Madame Tussauds syndrome,
Uh-huh.
where if someone makes a wax figure, your brain is not designed to ever see yourself in 3D. And so if somebody made a perfect wax replica of you and you saw it, on some level that causes a certain amount of trauma, psychological trauma, because you're not supposed to ever like be able to walk and see the back of your own head.
right.
You're just that's not
Your perspective.
Seeing it in a mirror is different because you're looking over there at a picture.
Yes.
But actually seeing
Your brain
yourself,
can separate it. Yeah.
it's
That's why a lot of actors can't watch themselves in their own films.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Depp won't watch himself in his own movies. I don't think Robert Redford will either, if memory serves.
I can see that.
But yeah, because it's just disturbing to them and they can't really wrap their heads around the concept.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother some people. Like people have even asked me about it with the podcast since I have to listen to the episodes a couple of times in order to cut the show notes. They ask me all the time. They're like, "Is it weird to listen to yourself?" And that's nothing compared to seeing yourself in person.
But it is a little. It is the first few times you do it, it's off-putting. What did you
So,
just?
in the
Katie
song-
just noticed something.
So in the song, they mentioned the boogeyman. And the title of this movie was originally called
Here comes
Here
the Boogeyman.
Comes the Boogeyman.
Yep.
So I guess they're like, here comes the boogeyman. They're like, oh no, Jeepers Creepers. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
And we'll do a whole Jeepers Creepers font. It'll be so cool.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the font won't be.
Well,
I
Ooh.
can't afford that.
This song is super creepy. The boogeyman will run away.
Yeah, all of these old songs were, sort of terrifying and creepy. So we have watched Jeepers Creepers, and I'm just very very glad that we finally got a scary movie, in the rotation. We are going to be doing some other hopefully scarier movies.
It just
Yes.
said, here comes the boogeyman. Like it actually said those words.
Oh, hey, that's the name of the movie. Well, it could have been.
The original.
It might have been.
Then shout out, fetch him, Freddy, and he'll hop off like a frog. What
That was a better
stupid
title.
Yeah, he'll hop off like a frog. It's like little
Yeah.
kids showing
He
up
did
to go
have
see
some
it.
amphibian-esque type
Yeah.
traits.
Say meow, pretend you're a cat.
Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
the boogeyman.
Uh,
Jeepers Creepers.
yes,
So,
Jeepers Creepers.
but yes, we do have some. We're getting progressively weirder and scarier as our Halloween agenda moves on.
Yes,
so
we've got some special surprises coming up.
we do indeed.
dark-
Or they've already happened, depending on
Yeah.
when this comes out.
That's true, yes. Or if you're listening to this 5 years from now,
You're in for a treat.
if man still lives.
if the aliens haven't come for
Yes,
us
if the
yet.
aliens haven't gotten us yet.
But Katie, any final thoughts on Jeepers Creepers and maybe a little reasoning as to why you and Jason decided that this was the movie you wanted to go with? I know Jason kind of touched on it a little bit.
So this movie came out when we were in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Did not get to watch it until I was in about high school. But I definitely this was
Let me guess, you watched it at your dad's house.
Absolutely.
I'm kidding.
No, you're
Hi,
100%
Mom.
correct. No, anytime something creepy came on, Mom was like, nope, we're not watching this. I'm like, you're not even watching it with me. Nope, you're not allowed to watch this.
Jeez,
So,
Mom.
she did let me watch Supernatural, though. But
That's not.
Yeah, because that show's been on for, what, a
when
decade and a half?
when it first came out, though, like, she let me watch it. Anyway, but no, this one was definitely what I would gravitate towards in high school. Like, I'd watch this, and I loved scary movies. If it wasn't a scary movie, I didn't want to watch it.
Really?
I can see that.
Oh, absolutely. I loved scary movies, and I still appreciate them now, but it's really after watching all of them like this, it's really hard to sit there and watch an actual scary movie where I'm like, is this going to be good or is this going to be lame?
What was the last movie you saw that actually scared you? Not grossed you out, not startled you, was scary.
I'm actually going to think about that because we don't really go to the movies that often anymore. And I mean,
Well,
we
on
can
video
still
or
stream
on-
it,
yeah,
but
I'm
really
It's been a
trying to
while.
think
It's
of
been
them.
it's been a while for me. I can actually think about it, and it's funny because when I say this, most people go, "Really, that movie scared you?"
Which is it?
Signs.
Oh, yeah.
Signs. I saw it in the theater, and that was back whenever I was much more into the whole UFO thing.
Yeah.
And it genuinely creeped because like ghosts for some reason they don't scare me because I'm like, it's ghosts,
Yeah.
whatever. But aliens, well, those could be real.
See, demon, things like that, those creep me out because you don't know until you see. And then the always like the Exorcist, like the downstairs creepy crab walk, like that creeped me out.
Yeah.
Like that stuff freaks me out.
Yeah.
Well, and in Signs in particular, it's kind of funny that you bring that up, Jason, because the one moment that really sticks with me from Signs is when they're down like in the basement or something, and you see the fingers of the alien come up from underneath the door and like trying to rip the door open.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my cat that we mentioned from my college days when we had a house cat, she used to do that. She would actually reach up underneath the door trying to get into the room where I was, and I was like, "Stop doing signs!" Like it's just
little stuff like that. That's the thing about a good horror movie, like, or just a good scary movie. There was a movie called Communion, which was it's based on a quote unquote true story. Blah blah blah. No, won't get into that. But it's about aliens, and Christopher Walken is in it.
okay.
And there's one shot in that movie that I saw as a kid, and it literally freaked me out where I couldn't be alone for a while.
Oh wow.
Because it's so subtle where Christopher Walken is in his bedroom and like he's writing he's on his computer and he thinks he hears something, and the way they do the shot, the camera basically sort of pans around and there's just a bedroom and there's nothing there until the alien that was right in front of you, but you didn't notice it until it moved, ducks back behind a bookshelf.
Oh man.
And so it's like literally you're like, what's going on? What's going on? And then the alien just sort of slides out of the frame.
Ugh.
And
Yeah, that is.
just
Yeah,
scared
the
that's
creeps a little bit.
that's creepy.
that's an interesting movie. We should watch Communion one of these days.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I avoid being
it's-
scared at all costs. I'm
I
really
love
trying to
scary
rack my
movies.
brain and think of what the last thing was that honestly scared me.
I wonder if it'll still be scary. I mean, it's
I'm
probably
more
been
s-
20 years since I've
But
seen
you're
it.
also looking for it now.
Yeah.
Like I was like
I might watch that tonight.
I'm more like startled. I will say, like, I think the last movie that actually got like that I got creeped out by though was It Too, the new one. But it was in the trailer I watched. It's this old lady and you just like see like you're watching the girl's face and then in the background you just see this like skittering and you're like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. It's gonna jump.
Well, that was in Signs. The other shot, whenever they're showing the video of like the birthday party.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you're in, and it's well shot because it's them watching a TV, and on the TV is amateur footage. So it's all framed up really narrow. So you're sort of like, you find yourself trying to look around a corner.
Right.
And then the alien just sort of darts by.
Ugh,
And it's great. It's
But
just,
they're not scary looking alien. I mean,
No, they're not.
it's like just a really tall,
more
dark,
the
like a
anticipation.
really tall man.
that's why everybody complains that's the problem with Signs, is the ending. Everyone focuses on the ending so much that it takes away from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And the really weird thing, and this is total film school, but the movie's not even about aliens.
Not
No.
really, no.
It's about a guy who used to be a man of the cloth finding his faith again.
Right.
That's what the whole movie's about. And the
Yeah.
aliens are just sort of part of the whole story of how he finds his faith again.
Ooh, I remember being really, the last time I was really scared. It wasn't, probably not the exact last time, but the movie that scared me, what was it with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Owen Wilson? It wasn't The Haunting of Hill House, or was it? It was like
don't
a
know.
remake. I don't know, but or maybe I'm mixing up my scary
I don't
movies,
know.
but
Tell
there
me
was,
what it is.
they
We'll figure it out.
They could only, like, there were they were like in an asylum, or where they used to keep
House on Haunted Hill.
House on Haunted Hill. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Where they can see the ghosts of doctors operating on somebody through like infrared goggles or something.
Yeah.
But they're not really there. They can't see
Yeah.
them with their naked eyes. But then the doctor's like looking down and operating on somebody, and then he looks straight up at them.
Yeah.
Oh God, that creeped me out so bad from that movie. Ugh.
I love Halloween.
Me too.
It's good times. So, Katie, once again, thank you for being our longest running reappearing guest. We appreciate it. She's officially outstripped Adam Brown, so you hold the title for most episodes.
Outstripped Adam. Thank you for
That is not what I meant, but phrasing first, boom. But
Please don't tell him that because he will send us a video.
Yep.
oh god.
And
It'll be in the show notes,
And I
guys.
don't want to see it.
Oh no. Well, you are the reigning queen of guest spots. How about that?
But
Do you
of
prefer that?
course.
Do you prefer that
Absolutely.
phrasing? Okay, good.
I'll bring a crown next time.
We'll run with that. Well, you got a nice little witch hat, and we'll make sure to
do.
post those photos on social media as we release these fun episodes. So, listeners, you can join us on social media if you so choose. You can find us at Hindsight is Horrifying on Instagram or at Hindsight Horror on Twitter and Facebook, even though nobody uses those anymore. You can find us, what's our new domain? Hindsight.show.
Yes,
Yes.
that is it.
And we're selling merchandise with notebooks and laptop sleeves and all sorts of fun things. So give that a go. And thank you for tuning in. Katie, is there anywhere in particular that you would like the listeners to find you?
Yes, you can find me on the gram at Kate_A_EM_.
And she likes all of our Instagram posts because she's a genuine fan, guys. So
I'm your biggest fan.
yes, you are.
Let me get a shirt.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to get her a shirt because we
working
know she'll
on-
take
yeah.
pictures in it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, tune in next time. Thank you for joining us as always, Katie. We appreciate you being in the studio today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and you are welcome back anytime you like. This has been Darth Jader with Katie, and
Jason Mitchell.
have a great night, guys.
Good night.